Welcome back to another week of Grand Slam Saturday. Big Paulie coming to you. And we're going to kick things off, as you might hear a few thunderstorms in the background, in the Tampa circuit. No, I'm not going to gloat about the Lightning for the 25th time, so I'm not going to do that. But in this Tampa circuit, we have a couple of Florida veterans. We got Cowboy Bill Watts defending the North American Championship against the demonic Kevin Sullivan. So let's show you what has already happened in the Tampa circuit. Try to get everybody to compete. We had shenanigans early on as Hiro Matsuda attacked Robert Gibson. Gibson won by DQ in a minute at 6 and about that he was about to win over preliminary star Alibaba. Ricky Steamboat and Chris Tullos had a bloodbath, but they went to a 20-minute draw. A double DQ took place between Jerry Briscoe and Gideon Gita of Germany. Gorilla Monsoon didn't lose, but went to a double DQ when Kamala surprised everybody and was the surprise guest of Sir Oliver Humperdinck. And Humperdinck claims that he bought out the contract of the man he was supposed to face, that was Monsoon, and yeah, it was 97. I know it was 97 because I put it in there. So Kamala picks up 3 points for the double DQ win. Rumors abound going into this match that Monsoon might be heading to greener pastures. It was Dustin Rhodes injured at the hands of Buzz Sawyer. I'm sure that'll get the family upset at Buzz, the product of Dixie Hollins High School, as it was known back then, nearby where I live. Daniel Bryant and Hiro Matsuda. Was Bryant winning by DQ. The interns pinned the Pitbulls. Jack Briscoe won by DQ when Kamala interfered in that bout. And just before we hit the air, it was the Von Brauners beating America's team, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA, by countout in just 40 seconds. So here, Cowboy Bill Watts is a fan favorite. Last week he was not. He faced Bruno Sammartino. Somehow got out with the title in hand. So now he's got Kevin Sullivan, who never going to be liked by anybody. Although he did have a babyface run late in CWF in 1987. So let's see. Computer likes Watts. This is one fall 60-minute time limit. All bouts are all title bouts are one fall 60 minutes. And off we go. Kevin gets the first move in, a whip to the ropes that sends Watts to the turnbuckles. No action. Watts comes back with a choke slam of Sullivan. Watts with a size advantage here. A pinhold counter. Oh, I didn't have the computer on. Yeah, we'll go an illegal pinhold here on Watts. Didn't get it. I forgot to set the Sullivan to a computer, so I'm going to have to think like a heel here. But I did set it for Watts. Sometimes happens. Auto control loss. Legal chop by Sullivan. Now let's see. We're going to play the outside the ring chart. Get nasty. And I shouldn't have done that. They never came back from the arena floor. They brawled with each other, and this very quickly over as this is a double countout. And a double countout will give each man 1 point in the rankings. So, didn't have any luck with that bout, but that's how it goes sometimes. By the way, we use Wrestling's Finest Version 3, the wonder of Tom Vogel. So we want to accredit that right away. And it was Watts taking a lot of damage, 181 to Sullivan's 5. No, I'm sorry, it was 18 to 5. Why did I say 181? Well, anyway, it went 2 stars. The match went 303. And Kevin elected to go to the floor, which proved to be a bad decision. So 1 match down, and several more to go. I don't know if I'll be able to get the first 2 regions of the Okerlund Cup in. If so, I'll have 7 matches for you this week. If not, I will just have 4. So that's to be determined as the week passes along. And right now, we head up to Chicago for a World Junior Heavyweight title defense. And we're moments away from another big bout here on Grand Slam Saturday. And on this occasion, we're in the Chicago circuit. And a most interesting challenge for Jackie Paolo, the reigning junior heavyweight champion of the world. He's going to face off one of the first football stars, professional football stars, that is, and Gus Sonnenberg, who transitioned to professional wrestling. And Sonnenberg was a part of the 1928 NFL champions, the Providence Steamrollers. And I think he was one of the first pro football players to go into the ring. Wayne Munn, who was a big collegiate football player. Now, this was back in an era before 1958 and the big game between the Giants and the Colts in the first sudden death game, where pro football was kind of a dirty word and college football was the bigger entity. Wayne Munn, I believe, was the first footballer to go into the pro wrestling ring, but I think Gus Sonnenberg was the first notable professional football player to go to the ring. We just wrapped up a match between Sting and The Undertaker, which Sting won by DQ, and Vader jumped into that. So you'll watch me set up our championship match between Jackie Mr. TV Paolo, who was held against some considerable odds, the World Junior Heavyweight Championship for quite a while now. He's going to face Gus Sonnenberg, who we have just been talking about, in Chicago. Sonnenberg ranked 100. He's relatively a newbie here in GSW, and I think he would have to be the overwhelming favorite to end Paolo's reign tonight, but we shall see. And I'm going to set up the match. Then we will talk about the card that has taken place prior to this match in the Windy City. We began with the Wild Samoans and the New Day going to a double DQ. Then following that bout, we had Rick Gibson pinning Paul Orndorff. And I will pause for a moment to tell you, if you have not heard the news this week, that in real life, Orndorff, who was a major star here in Tampa with Brandon High School, and then Brandon is east of Tampa, here in the Tampa Bay area, and then he played for the University of Tampa Spartans. Right along the time Freddie Solomon was a quarterback there who went on and played for the 49ers. Then Orndorff passed away Monday in real life through throat cancer at the age of 71, so I will just pause a moment. And getting back to GSW, Gibson won by pin. Orndorff, I'm pretty sure he is heading out to another territory because he lost 4 points and nobody else lost 4 points. So he will be the automatic person to go find work in another circuit. I had a nice little exchange of comments with Mr. Wrestling 2, who is a YouTube poster. And he was wondering how the transaction process works. So Paul Orndorff will probably be a free agent. He'll be ranked in 93. So what Chicago would want to do is probably find somebody lower, a heel maybe, lower than a 93 to replace Paul so they could make a few transaction points on the deal. Because it's kind of like the stock market, the way the transition market works is you gain points for buying low and selling high. So it'd probably be a good idea for Chicago to go look for a heel that's probably a little worse than Paul Orndorff is at 93. But the problem with that is there are not too many people on the free agent, grapplers on the free agent market in singles who are lower than 93, so Chicago probably have to take a little bit of a points hit. So that's how that works. Pedro Aguayo and Paul Christie. Christie was making his debut in GSW. They went to a 20-minute draw. The Rock, who is a fan favorite here in Chicago, was saying some nice things about the people in Chicago. He won by DQ when Paul Christie interfered. Chris Adams, a fan favorite here in Chicago, defeated Terry Bam Bam Gordy. It was, of course, a battle of a former WCCW champ and a former UWF champion. And right around the same time frame, 86-87, they both broke away from the NWA. It was Adams winning by DQ when Gordy got a little too fresh with the referee. Jay Youngblood survived an injury attempt, and his World Tag Team title reign will be unaffected as Johnny Valentine roughed them up at 11:20. So Youngblood picks up a point for that. The Fabulous Kangaroos came from behind and stunned the People's Army. That's the team, fan favorite team out of Australia, or competed in Australia, of Mark Lewin and King Curtis Iaukea. Hulk Hogan over Ivan Koloff, rather easy, a minute 13. Hulk won the battle outside the ring to get back in. And as we were saying, Sting over The Undertaker when Vader interfered, reminding Sting that he's around and he wants a rematch for Sting's newly won international title. He beat Vader for the title last week. So this brings us to our championship match in the junior heavyweights. Sonnenberg may be a favorite here, even though he is the challenger, against Jackie Pallo. And let's see what the computer thinks. Computer likes the champ. Computer always likes to chalk. And you can't go wrong doing that most of the time. And off we go with our Junior Heavyweight Championship match this week on Grand Slam Saturday. Then we'll head over to Minneapolis for the World Tag Team title defense by Youngblood and Steamboat. And they will get the Miller Brothers, I believe. Let me just double check that. And yes, they get the Miller Brothers. And you also got the Blackjacks in town defending their belts against the High Flyers, team of Greg Gagne and Jumping Jim Brozell. So off we go with our match for the junior heavyweight title. A turnbuckle move gets a pin attempt, but no pin. Gus Sonnenberg using arm holds and a neck hold. Meat and potatoes wrestler from the 20s and 30s. No pin, and this, we're not going to go for a submission there. No action. Back to Pallo. Pin hold was countered, and a kick by Sonnenberg scores. And Sonnenberg has not gotten a hold on him, even up a hold so far in this match. And we're nearly 3 minutes in. A headlock. So Sonnenberg keeping control. A body slam by the challenger. No action. A whip to the ropes. Whip to the turnbuckles. That does not result in a pinning combination. Hair pull by pull. First move of the match for Pallo that scores. And that's 4 points off of Sonnenberg's total. Sonnenberg with a good lead as we approach the 5-minute mark. No action. No action. Kick by Pallo. Elbow by Jackie Mr. TV Pallo. And a choke. Will he get a pin off of it? No, he will not. Throat chop by the champ. No pin. By the way, this is Sonnenberg making a debut. He competed, I think, Sonnenberg's debut in a head-to-head match. He competed in the Battle Royal and did not qualify for Monarch of the Mat, if I remember correctly. Pallo is 5-5-2, so Sonnenberg has no head-to-head record. Not officially a debut, and Pallo getting booed by the fans here. And he is down about 20 points at the moment, a headlock. Wouldn't it be something for Sonnenberg to win the title in his first head-to-head match? Kind of like Leon Spinks in February of '78 in Las Vegas when he beat Muhammad Ali. Submission move, full Nelson by the champ. Well, I don't even know why I tried for the submission there. And again, the fans, real derisive with the champ, and that's 5 more points off of his damage. And illegal punches by Sonnenberg. Hey, he's trying to win the title. So we don't know what we don't know about Gus Sonnenberg here. Illegal punches by Pallo, a whip to the ropes by the challenger Sonnenberg. And he's got about a 24-point lead right now. Sonnenberg sticking and moving, and that's wearing Pallo down. Auto control loss. An illegal choke by the champ. No pin. Got a 22 on the 3 count, and he needed a 1 or a 2. And that's a whip to the turnbuckle by the challenger. Almost got the pin right there. He got a 4. He needed a 1, 2, or 3, appropriately. Sonnenberg in control, and Pallo is going to keep the title. Jackie Pallo runs at Gus Sonnenberg, who moves out of the way, causing Pallo to run into the ringside table. Sonnenberg smashes Pallo's head off the announcer's table. and gets into a screaming match with his rival, who is guest commentating. Sonnenberg gets caught up in the argument. Paolo is going to win by countout. So Paolo is turning into Rasputin, and every time you think he's in a situation he can't get out of, he finds a way to do it. So Paolo will win by countout. He will not pick up any rankings points for it because he was more than 20 points ahead. So it'll be a 0 gain for Paolo. And the time of the fall was 12:56. And let's see, damage was 78.52, Sonnenberg's favor. Again, you want to have the least amount of damage points. And it went 2.5 stars. 2.5 stars. And Mr. TV somehow, some way, once again, escapes. Once more. So he'll head, as all of our champions will head to the Western Combine, North American Combine, and he will defend his championship again next week. And for now, we head off to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And our next stop here on Grand Slam Saturday, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we have a World Tag Team title defense. It's going to be Jay Youngblood, Ricky Steamboat, who have now held the title 24 weeks. They will face the Miller Brothers, who were busy on the undercard, and we're going to get to the details of that right now. In our opening bout, it was Yokozuna over Tom Zank. Actually, I beg your pardon, it was Zank winning by DQ. Yokozuna was in the match with Zank and Harley Race, who has returned to GSW via the St. Louis circuit, making his debut in Minneapolis, or at least presently he's making his debut. He put a whooping on Tom Zink. So that happened. Masked Assassin pinned Danny Davis. Killer Kowalski and Bronco Nagurski go to a 20-minute draw. Butch Reed might send Bob Roop packing to another circuit, as he won cleanly by pin in 10:05 with a shoulder block. Harley Race then battled Roland Bach and went to a 20-minute draw. Mark Lewin won by DQ over Wild Bill Longson when Killer Kowalski interfered. Freddie Blassie and Antonino Rocca go 20. The Deuced Riot Squad defeat America's Most Wanted when James Storm was just too badly cut to continue. And Vern Gagne over Nick Bockwinkel, 12:04, a small package to win there. Then we had a very odd situation. The Blackjacks and the High Flyers were really going at it, having a good bout, went 4.5 stars, and then the Miller Brothers, who were about to go for the World Tag titles, came out and attacked both teams, busting the High Flyers open. And as I wrote for the Delphi Forum and my Facebook page, they drew the ire of everybody. They are an island upon themselves, as Commissioner Soley would say. So the next time we come to Minneapolis, we're going to have some feuds to be settled. Kowalski, we're going to have 3 grudge matches at least. High Flyers maybe against the Miller Brothers. If the Miller Brothers do not win the titles tonight, they might have to battle the High Flyers in some sort of grudge match. And Vern Gagne has seen enough. He's going to be in the corner of the champions just to keep the Miller Brothers from pulling off any other shenanigans tonight. So this is a world title defense, and we use the classic setup here, and we'll do the trade holding. And there's nothing to do because the Millers have a ropes counter, but the champs have no counters of their own, so they can't use their ropes counter. And off we go here in a moment. Jay Youngblood, Ricky Steamboat favored. They've been champions 24 weeks, so you figure they are due at some point to lose the titles. Youngblood and Steamboat come in. This is their 23rd match of the year. They are 13-5-4. The Miller Brothers 1-2-2. and they just recently lost to the High Flyers. And you got the Dusick Riot Squad also in the Minneapolis circuit. They look promising, and some scribes following GSW think the Dusicks could win the Okerlund Cup. So a pin right away for the champs. They don't get it, as there was some sticking and moving going on. Body press from the ropes, and that's another near pin that the champions score. You kind of wonder if the challengers expended too much energy and they could be off their game. Abdominal stretch by the champs. Flying double axe handle. That nearly was a pin, so the Miller brothers are reeling early in the bout. They are already down 45 points. Double team. Another double team. And the Miller brothers now have control, and they have a big double team of their own. Actually, they have the last two moves. Kicked by the Millers. And verbal altercation between Gagne and the Millers. Vern probably wasn't too happy that the Millers roughed up his son. Legal leg hold by the Millers. And a power move. And an auto control loss. Kick by the champs fails. Turnbuckle move by the challengers fails. A pinhold move by the champs fail. And a kick by the challengers. So it's about a dead even bout. Actually, the Miller brothers have moved ahead as we now go to the 5-minute mark. Painful arm breaker, but that submission is not going to get it done. Punches used by the challengers, Bill and Dan Miller. Legal turnbuckle move by the challengers. We'll roll there. No pin. Disqualify move was stopped. Disqualifying possibility stopped. No action. Legal punches, so the Millers are on a roll right now. They try a submission move that was countered. We go back to the champs. A leg hold. Body slam on the champs. No pin. And an arm hold used by the Millers. Punches by the Millers. They're trying to win the titles right here and now. I'm sure the High Flyers will lobby hard to get a piece of these guys after what they did in the last match. Suplex attempt by the champs. Ka-chunk, it works. And that's 10 points off of the challengers total, but the champs still trailing a little bit. Double team attempt. That's going to get them back in the match. That cuts the deficit in half almost. Or, let's see, they were down 45. They're now down 25. Almost, yes. Auto control loss. And we go back to the challengers who lose control. And the Miller brothers getting into it with the fans. That's not going to help them. And now you got a very close match at the 10-minute mark. No action. Abdominal stretch, but that's not going to get the score because it's a 0 on the 3 count. Punches used by the champions. No action. We go back to... No, we stay with the champs. Legal whip to the ropes for 6 points. So far we have had 5 fin attempts, 3 for the champs, 2 for the challengers. No pin. No action, I beg your pardon. Pinch, not a pinch, but a punch by the Miller brothers. And we got a very even bout here. Double teaming by the challengers. And again, the champs find themselves in a deficit now of 35 points. Double team attempt, that was countered by the champs. But again, the Millers go to double teaming, and it's working. It's working. We're at 12.5, and again, the Millers have opened up a 50-point lead, and more double teaming. That's the problem with having one ref in the ring. You can't control all of this. And this time it was countered by the champs' punches, flying in the air, and that looks like it was kind of weak, as the champions now trail by 60. Double teaming by the champs, that's going to take 15 points off the deficit, and another 15, and more double teaming. Champs are 4 and 9 in double teams, 4 for 9, and the challengers are 5 for 9. Very close. Illegal forearm, no pin. Ropes move countered. Legal punches score for the Millers. No action. Leg drop for the Millers. Auto control loss, and another. More double teaming, but looks like that was stopped. And it's a 35-point margin in favor of the challengers, 15-21 into the bout. Auto control loss, speed move. No pin there for Youngblood and Steamboat, and you kind of wonder, is this the night where Lady Luck rules against them. No pin. Auto control loss. Back to the challengers with an arm hold. Miller Brothers have control. Full Nelson punches. Could this be it? No pin. And more double teaming by the challengers. Champs taking a beating. Auto control loss. But we've seen them get out of trouble like this before. Maybe they get out of it again. We're at the 18-minute mark. No action. Miller Brothers with control. A pile driver. And something happened and the champs retain. Miller was the high flyers that came into the ring. Oh, wait a minute. We are checking the tapes. Ally, who just recently came to ringside, tries to enter the ring, but is quickly met by the Miller brothers, who knock them back to the arena floor. Referee DQs the Miller brothers for it was the Riot Squad who came in. So the Miller brothers, like I said, they're having problems with every other tag team in the Minneapolis circuit. So this is going to wind up being a DQ, which gives the champions passage to week 29. So Youngblood and Steamboat will not pick up any rankings points, but they will retain by DQ. The time of the fall, 18 minutes, 44 seconds. Millers attack Riot Squad. As they attempted to assist. And it was 265 off the champs. The champions, again, sometimes you better be lucky than good, and on this occasion they were lucky. It was a 3-star match. So, with that, our next stop is going to be St. Louis, Missouri, and we will catch you on the flip side. And welcome to our latest stop here on Grand Slam Saturday. It's going to be the first of 2 appearances for Dory Funk Jr. as he defends his world crown against Pat O'Connor here in St. Louis. Lou Thez was the top contender, but after a couple of battles, Pat O'Connor has emerged on top, and we'll get to where Lou Thez might be heading as we go through the matches that have already taken place. We started out with a double countout between the Bruiser and the Crusher against the Masked Grapplers. That only went a minute 34. Vampiro and Ultimate Warrior went to a 20-minute draw. Tommy Rich over Gene Kaniski. Kaniski just continues to be off to a slow start in year number 4, and we're already more than halfway through it. It was Red Berry pinning Carlos Roca. Everett Marshall and Danny McShane had a bruising 44-minute battle because it was a no time limit, no DQ bout, but Marshall prevailed. Kurt Hennig by countout over Steve Austin. Ray Stevens drew with Magnum TA. The Flying Scots succumbed to the Minnesota Wrecking Crew of Gene and Ole Anderson. Lou Thez loses to Ray Stevens. Stevens applied a crotch and head hold, 9:24, and Thez might be a free agent or be traded to another circuit because he lost the most points on this card, and nobody here can exceed losing 5 points. Even if Pat O'Connor loses by pin tonight, he would only lose 3. So it's going to be Fez on the way out. I'm sure somebody will pick him up very, very easily. So we have Dory Funk Jr., who has now been champ 21 weeks. He's going to have another defense later on the show against Randy Savage, provided he wins tonight. If O'Connor wins, of course, O'Connor draws Savage in Glens Falls, New York, which is where our double regional will be held this week for the Okerlund Cup. You'll see stars from Canada and stars from the New York circuit. You'll be both competing on the same card. They'll be having their qualification tournaments, and we'll add an extra match for the world title between Mach and Dory. So let's go over the particulars. As champion, Dory is 13-4-6. This will be his 24th match as champ. Pat O'Connor, who has a champion's card of his own, but he's got to use his MasterCard until he wins it, He is 3-2-2. He's had a couple of battles lately with Kurt Hennig. He lost the first, won the second. Uh, Dory has been very, very busy. Just lost by countout to Andre the Giant, but he just defeated, shockingly quickly, Antonio Inoki by pin. So we are set to go. And this is a World Championship match. And we will trade holds here. And let's get it started. Of course, the computer likes Dory, but there's always going to be a night when the challenger could surprise. And we nearly had that on a couple occasions with Lou Thez. Thez got very, very close to winning the world title a couple of times in recent weeks. So off we go. A speed move by the challenger and a pin hold countered by the champ, and Funk Jr. goes for a Boston Crab. But you're not going to score a submission on O'Connor. He's 8-4-0 to start off with on submissions. The old butterfly suplex was countered. Pat O'Connor has been watching tapes. He won the world championship, I want to say, in 1959, and then he lost it in what was then the largest gate in pro wrestling history, or was believed to, when he lost the title in 3 falls to Buddy Rogers. And Rogers did not like to make defenses for NWA promoters. He liked to focus on fighting the title in the Northeast, and Lou Thez came along. He was in his late 40s in 1963, and he told Buddy Rogers, we could do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way. So Thez took the title off of Rogers, and the Northeastern promoters decided to form the WWWF, which has been, in fact, in place ever since, nearly 60 years later. An arm hold by the challenger and a bridge suplex, and had a very low odds of getting the pin. Speed move, drop kick out of nowhere near a fall there. Pin hold, so O'Connor putting in a lot of pinning combinations, trying to wear the champ down. And a neck hold by O'Connor, whip to the ropes. Speed move by O'Connor countered. And we got counters going on all over the place, and Dory finally gets control with an arm hold. And a chop by Funk in the, while O'Connor was trapped in the corner. That's what I was thinking of. No pin. So we're 5 minutes in, and the champ not doing so well. But he'll have a second win coming to him. Leg hold by the challenger, followed up by a kick and a headlock. Rolling cradle, that was countered by Funk. Suplex attempt countered. And O'Connor goes for a suplex right back, and that's 9 points off the champion's total. Neck hold by the champ. No action. And a sleeper hold, but that's not likely to score a submission, so we ignore it. Low blow countered by illegal punches by Pat O'Connor. I've seen Pat wrestle until his 80s. Not his 80s, but the 1980s. I saw him in Florida, growing up in the Tampa circuit, wrestle Ric Flair on television in CWF. Legal punches by the challenger. Auto control loss. A kick by the Funker. And a chop. And he's in control, try to go for a big move, and he does. A running bulldog outside the ring, and that could change the complexion of the match. So that's 35 big points. And O'Connor woozy, but he gets up. Turnbuckle move countered, an illegal one. Whipped to the ropes by the champ. That was also countered. Arm breaker, that's not going to score a submission with O'Connor's 8-4-0 rating. Illegal turnbuckle. You notice the submission ratings kind of look like a baseball score when a team has given up a lot of walks. Legal turnbuckle by the Funker, and that is 5 points off of O'Connor's total. Damage about that even. Now O'Connor has slipped behind a little bit. The champ goes for a body slam and gets it. Throat chop by Pat O'Connor, which was illegal, but they let it go, and that's no pin. Funk's lost the stamina level. Rolling cradle. Had to get a 1 on the third count. 1 and only 1, and he didn't. Kick by Funk. Spinning toe hold. He'll try for the submission. Didn't get it. Suplex attempt by O'Connor. Kabunk! And that's 9 points off of Funk's total. Funk still at the 15-minute mark with a 17-point lead. Whip to the rope, so that lead vanishes down to 10. And shoulder block. See, that gets it done. He's got to get a 1 on the 3 count, but he doesn't. I know O'Connor slightly ahead. Legal throw by Dory Funk Jr. A disqualified check stops a possible DQ. Punches used by the champs. By the champ, not a champ. Small package. No pin. And we have had, that was the second pin attempt for Funk, and O'Connor has already registered 6. Suplex countered, speed move. O'Connor juking and jiving, sticking and moving, and that's 6 points off of Dory's total. Whip to the ropes, double thrust to the throat. Hi-ya! And that's 7 points off. O'Connor countered. Elbow by the Funker and the champ. Nip and tuck right now as we get to the 20-minute mark. Auto control loss goes back to O'Connor with a forearm. Whip to the ropes. And a kick by the champ. Kick a second time. It was countered. And O'Connor again sticking and moving, jucking and jiving. And that's 6 points more off of Funk's total. Ropes move countered by Funk. And a camel clutch is not going to score the submission. It's up to 12-8-0 now. Body slam by the champ. That does not get the pin. That was the 9th pin attempt of the match. Speed move by O'Connor. Drop kick, and that finds Dory Funk Jr.'s chest. And that's 6 points. Kick by O'Connor. And choking by O'Connor. No action. No action. See what the next move is. It's, again, speed and quickness. Speed and quickness. O'Connor making Dory Funk Jr. chase, and he's now up about 17 points. But it's still nip and tuck. Big boot to the head. Off the ropes, that's 7 more points off the champ, but Dory Funk comes right back with a kick. Both these men, surprisingly, have educated feet. Legal punch is countered. Here comes the champ, spinning toe hold, but again, 39-35-0. This would be a waste of time to call for the submission here. Legal forearm by the champ. Legal arm hold by the champ. And this is a Jim Dandy of a match. Body slam countered by the champ. Submission move. Austin Crab, no chance to get the submission, so we go on. Forearm by Funk, and no action, and an auto control loss, followed by no action. We're now more than halfway through the bout, the 60-minute time limit, and O'Connor slightly behind, and Funk again using punches to open up a little itty-bitty bit of a lead. Throat chop by Dory Funk Jr., which was illegal. Rolling reverse, no pin for O'Connor. Leg hold countered. Leg hold applied by O'Connor. 6 points. Face rake by the challenger. 4 points. Submission move. Bear hug. That was not in any jeopardy of scoring the submission. But it did take 5 points off of the Funker's total. And 6 more points off for a headlock. And another. Auto control loss. We go back to the champion. Low blow. 6 points off of O'Connor's total. Kick by Dory Funk Jr. Hope you're liking the sound effects, because I might never do it again. Kick by Dory. And Dory kicking and stomping. And he's trying to tell O'Connor permission to re-enter the ring has been denied. That's 10 points off. And a backslide by the champ. No pin. So this has been a good bout so far. We're at 35-09. O'Connor down but slightly. Choking by the champ. And a cut. And the challenger is cut. And it is a cut below his left eye, so it will not impair his sight. But at the same time, O'Connor loses his stamina level, and he is in deep trouble. Running clothesline by the champ outside the ring, and that's 15 more points off. So Dory has now opened a pretty big lead. Throat chop, pin attempt, No, he didn't get him. Did not get him. That's now the 12th pin attempt of the match. We are now at 37-15. Legal throw by Funk Jr. No action. And as I said, he has opened up a lead. O'Connor not that badly cut. We'll see if he can continue. Kick by Pat O'Connor. Needs to rally, and he needs to rally now. Flying shoulder block. Got to get a 1. Doesn't get it on the 3 count. Throat chop. Again, it's got to be a 1 on the 3, but it was a 34 on the 2, so that stops the pin attempt. And that is now 14 pin attempts in the bout. No action. No action. Leg hold countered. Kick countered. And a supplé attempt, and ka-chunk. 9 points off of Dory's total. So, and the champ comes right back with a legal forearm. And you know Funk Jr. can do that. He's got that European uppercut. 7 points off of O'Connor. And a figure four, but it's not going to score because it's 17-16 and 0. Headlock for Dory Jr. No action, auto control loss. We go back to the champ with an illegal chop. Yeah! And that's 5 more points off. No pin. We're at 43-24, now 43-41. No action. Legal forearm. Legal forearm by O'Connor. And he got it! He got it! He's the brand new world champ. The reign of Dory Funk Jr. has ended. Pat O'Connor is your brand new world heavyweight champion. How about that? Kept looking for that 1, and it came. How about that? The crowd in St. Louis going absolutely bonkers. And Pat O'Connor has done it. He has won the GSW World Heavyweight title. So now, O'Connor will hit the road to Glens Falls, New York, and he will face Randy Savage for the World Championship. All class out of Dory Funk Jr. He shakes O'Connor's hand. Wishes him the best as champion. The time of the fall, 44-28. And O'Connor wins with a series of forearms. And the 21-week reign of Dory Funk Jr. has come to an end. The match gets 5 stars. And you gotta wonder if O'Connor owes a thank you note to Lou Thesz, because it was Lou Thesz a couple of times in the weeks leading up to Monarch of the Mat that kind of softened Funk up, getting a couple of real scares to the champ. Once in each match, Thesz could have had him beat. Could have had Dory Funk Jr. beat, but it's going to be Pat O'Connor who wins the GSW World Heavyweight Champion. He has a champion set card, so he goes on the road, and he might wind up colliding with John Pezic at some point in time. But what a stunner. As Pat O'Connor is your brand new World Heavyweight Champion, which is going to make our next event a little bit of an anticlimax. We're going to have 3 matches coming up from Glens Falls, New York, the Okerlund Cup qualifiers, and you're going to see Pat O'Connor defending his world title for the first time. So let's head there. And our final stop is a trip to Glens Falls, New York for the Okerlund Cup Canada and New York qualifiers. And this is the way this will work. As I show you the screen, and we have our Canadian final already about to take place. The regions were drawn based where the teams were at the end of the second quarter. So if some teams moved after that point, well, they still have to qualify in the circuit they were in the second quarters. The world champ and the international champs, world champs, international champs, get to pick the circuit they wish to qualify in. Free agents are also a part of this tournament, and they were randomly drawn into the 16 territories, and they have the lower seeds. And whoever wins the Canada tournament and whoever wins the New York tournament, they will face each other in the first round of the final stage. That will be all the way down in week 37. So let's get you set up. This was in Glens Falls, New York, Canada, and you are qualifying in the same location. In the first round in Canada, it was the Heavenly Bodies shocking the Kalmakoffs. The Heavenly Bodies were a free agent team. I should mention before that there was a battle between the 4 and 5 seeds. The Hollywood Blondes lose out to the heel PG-13. So we had 2 upsets right away. And then the Crusaders advanced via double DQ with Golden and Fuller. And so the rules, much like Monarch of the Mat, if there is a draw, if there is a double DQ, then the highest seed moves on. And that's exactly what happened in the first 2 bouts in the New York quarterfinals. The Valiant Brothers win over Rose and Doskowski when that goes to a double DQ. Ditto Rocca and Perez beating the Jurassic Powers. The Jurassic Powers and PG-13 are new teams. After each half year, the circuits get to nominate either a singles wrestler or a team to move on to be put into free agency, so they could be selected as needed. So that's how they were included into the tournament. We also teams can also purchase the rights via the transaction market to a debuting team, or I have another 2 ways it could be done. If they make the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, I put them in as a free agent. Or if they pass away and I don't already have them in GSW, I put them in the pool. But they would have to have passed on since I started the game from late 2017 onward to now, here in 2021. So there were double DQs in the first 2 New York quarterfinals, and then let me see here. In the last quarterfinal, Johnny Barron and Magnificent Maurice, who were tag team champions early in GSW here, they beat the Dudley Boys, stunning them 7 beating a 2, and that set up our semifinals. In the Canadian semifinals, I have Canada here. It should be Canada. Blame Canada. Those of you who have ever watched South Park. I don't watch South Park frequently, although I find them very funny. The Crusaders beat the Heavenly Bodies and the Hart Foundation, who drew a bye in the first round. And I should point out that there are going to be some tournaments that are going to have 6 teams, some are going to have 7, and some are going to have 8. So you're in a 17 tournament, you draw that bye, you got a pretty big advantage. It was the Hearts over PG-13. That's about we're about to see the Crusaders and the Hart Foundation going one fall 60 minutes. DQ minus 10, and those of you who play Wrestling Finest will know what that means. It means the ref gives a little more latitude, but there could be a disqualification or double disqualifications. It's not impossible. In the New York semifinals, it was Barron and Maurice against Rocca and Perez. Rocca and Perez win in 12 minutes flat, and the Pitbulls drew the one bye. Number 1 seed bye, because they were the top team in New York at that point, and they beat the Valiant Brothers in 10:41. And we'll see them in our second bout of 3, be Rocca and Perez against the Pitbulls, who have been champions a few times in GSW. I don't think they've ever won the world title, but they have won regional championships. So first it's going to be the Crusaders and the Hart Foundation. That's our first bout. And it's one fall 60. The Hearts will advance on a time limit draw, a double DQ, or anything that does not produce a winner. So here we go with this bout. And the winner of the Canadian circuit will battle the winner of the New York circuit, as I was saying, in the first round of the final stage, which will be in Let's see here. I said week 37, so 9 weeks away. Okerlund Cup does it a little differently. We put the regional winners against each other based on the geography of where they were at the time. So we have started. We're 1 minute into the bout. Arm holds by the Crusaders. I think both teams will kind of put the niceties aside and go at each other here because this is for a spot in the final 16. A pin hold countered by the Crusaders, and they come back with a double team that was countered by the Hearts. A pinning hold inside cradle, that does not score. Kick by the Hart Foundations. It's going to be hard to top what we just showed you here on Grand Slam Wrestling, but we'll do our best. And our final bout is going to be Pat O'Connor, the brand new GSW champion, battling Macho Man Randy Savage. And a pin attempt here by the Crusaders. No. Whip to the ropes. The Masked Men doing well. By the way, they come in 4-3-4, and the Hart Foundations as baby faces, which is what they are here, they are 6-3-3. Tag out occurred. Pin hold here for the Crusaders. No pin. So far, the Crusaders doing very well. They're up 55 points at the 5-minute mark. Illegal choking by the Hearts. No action. And an arm hold by the Hart Foundation. Did I say fart? Sorry about that, folks. Double team attempt by the Hearts, and again, and a flying punch by the Hart Foundation. That does not score the pin. The Crusaders come back with an arm hold and another. No action. Whip to the ropes by the Hearts. Arm hold by the Hart Foundation. And a double team attempt by the Hearts. Score. An arm hold. More double teaming. So as we approach the 10-minute mark, this is completely turned around, and the Crusaders are in trouble. Figure 4 leg lock, that will not score because there was no chance of getting a submission. The Crusaders with a double team and a kick and another double team. So momentum can change quickly in these bouts with the double teaming. And several double teams, and now the Hart Foundation trail. Pin attempt, no. Pin hold by the Crusaders does not score. Auto control loss. We have had 7 pin attempts, 5 of them by the Crusaders at this point. Arm hold by the Crusaders, and knee to the midsection, no pin. Double team attempt. And that was countered. No action, a kick, or there was a threat of a DQ, so they didn't do it. Arm hold by the Crusaders. Another one countered, and a bear hug. I think Neidhart would probably be applying the bear hug on the one of the Crusaders, the Masked Men. No pin. Counter. Some more countering. And right now at 15 minutes, the Crusaders have the lead, kicking. Double team by the Hearts, but with the double team moves possible, the momentum can change rapidly. And another pin attempt on the Hearts does not score. Drop kicks by the Crusaders, no pin. No pin. We have 8 pins now by the Crusaders to 2 for the Hart Foundation. But remember, this is a 60-minute bout. It's very rare for a tag bout to go 60. Illegal punches by the Crusaders, and a body slam, and a neck hold. And no action, and a heart attack. Heart attack by the Hearts, and they do not get the pin. They do not get that pin. That is, they move where one of the Hearts holds their opponent up a little bit so the other can come in with a clothesline. Legal forearm by the Hearts, followed by a body slam and a neck hold. And an arm hold. Kick was countered, and here come the Hearts with a headlock that was also countered. Pin hold by the Crusaders. Side roll, but no pin combination there. Power move by the Hearts. Body slam coming up. Ka-chunk, and that's no pin. 4th pin attempt by the Hearts in the match. We're 22 minutes plus in. Submission move, we will not score that. Atomic knee drop by the Crusaders. Neck hold by the Hearts. Double team countered. Legal throw by Lyons and Robinson. No pin. Double teaming by the Crusaders. Double teaming again by the Crusaders. Crusaders up about 70 points, which I think is their largest lead of the bout, with about now almost at 25 minutes. A submission move. I don't know why I did that. So play attempt by the Crusaders scores. A kick by the Hearts does not, as it was countered. Speed move by the Crusaders. Double team attempt by the Crusaders. Crusaders doing well. They've won some minor championships in GSW, but they've never won the big one, I don't think, offhand. Illegal turnbuckle move. Submission. But has no chance of scoring, so we move on. Auto control loss. Hearts go for a DQ, which would lose them the match, so that would not be wise. A backbreaker. That was one of the Crusaders' backs, and that's 12 points off of their total. But the Hearts got work to do. They're about 100 points behind. No action. And let's see here. That is Crusaders punching outside the ring. They're both fan favorite teams. Atomic knee drop. No pin. No pin. That was the 10th attempt by the Crusaders. They're keeping the pressure on. Leg drop. No pin. Pin attempt number 11, I think. Unless it was the Hearts pinning the Crusaders there, or attempting to, and they just double team, and another double team, and another double team, and a fourth double team. So as I keep saying, the points can rack up in a hurry here. Legal throw by the Crusaders. Crusaders have control. Another double team. They're still up about 100 points at 32-53. Whale of a bout we got here. No pin. And arm holds used by the Crusaders and a supplé attempt. Ka-chunk, that scores. Nine more points off. So they're up about 130 points. Could be going for the kill here. Nice flurry of moves. Arm hold by the Hearts. And no action. Inside cradle. No pin. Remember, if we go 60, the Hearts will automatically advance to the final stage. A backbreaker. No, they did not get the pin. They did not get the pin. And we move on. 18 pin attempts so far in the bout. Crusaders have gotten 11 of them. Arm hold by the Crusaders. A kick. Double team attempt countered. Supplé attempt. No, we go on. 19 pin attempts. 8 now by the Hearts. Power move by the Hearts. This should be 4.5, 5-star territory, I would think. Headlock by the Crusaders. And body press. No pin. Attempt number 12 for them. No action. Legal throw by the Hearts. Double team attempt countered again. Neither team getting 50% of their double teams in. The Crusaders are 10 for 21. The Hearts are 8 for 19. Disqualify check. Auto control loss. Legal elbow by the Crusaders. That does not get it done. We have not had any blood yet, but we have had quite the match. We've had over 830 points of damage so far. A flying headbutt. No, that does not score. That was the 9th pin attempt by the Hearts. The Crusaders are now up to 13. A body slam by the Hearts. Legal chop countered. Legal knee. No pin. We're at 43-38. Legal throw by the Hearts. Auto control loss. Double team attempt by the Crusaders again scores. That's the 11th time they have gotten that in. Whip to the ropes by the Crusaders. Sleeper hold by the Crusaders, but that cannot score a submission. And the Hearts are nearly out of it. Auto control loss. Figure 4 leg lock. No pin. No pin. And we keep going on. That's the 14th pin attempt by the Crusaders. 15 more points off for a double team. Legal elbow scores. Arm hold scores. Crusaders have pretty much done everything but win the match. We are now at 23 pin attempts. Now a 24th. Double team. No. And that was the 10th for the Hearts. More double teaming. Legal elbow by the Hearts. There are over 1,000 points of damage into the bout. Now at 1,048, we have 11:19 left to go before the 60-minute time limit gets here. Ropes move. No action. Auto control loss. Legal forearm by the Crusaders. No action. Flying mare. Got it. Got it. And the Crusaders win an exhaustive battle. Despite being fatigued, having to wrestle one more match, they pull it out. And they win it in 50-43. And they have punched their ticket to the final stage. That gets them 4 points. Crusader 2 pins Neidhard with a flying mare. What a bout. And I will write up my... you can catch my notations of the bout on either Wrestling's Finest Delphi board. Look for the thread Grand Slam Wrestling, or on my Big Polly's World of Sports Sims Facebook group. I'm not going to do it right now because we have our next bout to get to, which is going to be Antonino Rocca, who we've had, actually, and I pull up the singles match. I should have pulled up the tag team match. Who we have had, I think, once or twice. As a single, he teams up with Miguel Perez, who has been a asset to the San Juan circuit. They're going to get the Pit Bulls in another all-babyface final. And the winner of this will meet the Crusaders in the round of 16 at the final stage in a few short weeks. And let me just check something here. I could tell you where that final 16 bout is going to be. As I noted that, here's my pay-per-views. Now that's Bella the Brawl. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be in Okerlund Cup's going to be in London, England. So we'll have that bout, those second round bouts for you somewhere on the British continent, I would think. But what about between the Pit Bulls, not the Pit Bulls, but the Hart Foundation and the Crusaders? That lived up to its billing for sure. So this will have no tournament DQ rules here of -10. I'm checking that off for both of them. And the Pit Bulls are going to have an advantage because they only had to compete once. Rocca and Perez had to compete twice. Here are the move trade-offs. And here we go with our New York Circuit final. Crusaders waiting in the wings for one of these two teams. And here we go. Legal knee by Rocca and Perez to start off our New York final. Legal arm hold by the Pit Bulls. Bear hug by Rocca and Perez. I don't know why I went for the submission there. Rocca and Perez 2-0-1. They went 1-0-1 in the tournament, and the Pit Bulls are 3-2, having just lost to the interns before they were a part of this tournament. They lost in Tampa to the interns, and that was earlier on in the week. Pin attempt, no pin. Legal elbow by the Pit Bulls, a double team, outside the ring action, and some more. Auto control loss, followed up by a kick by Rocca and Perez, a whip to the ropes. Double team by Rocca and Perez, whip to the ropes. So submission move was countered, disqualified check stopped. And double team attempt for the Pit Bulls. Pile driver by Rocca and Perez, no pin. About even early on, we're 6 minutes into the bout. And after this, we will have our World Heavyweight Championship match. And I don't know how many of you a few short days ago would have thought it would have been Pat O'Connor defending against Randy Macho Man Savage. Dory Funk just having lost to O'Connor in St. Louis. And we had a double DQ here as the Pitbulls got aggressive. And Pitbulls can be aggressive, especially in the animal kingdom. So the double DQ works to the Pitbulls' advantage. They will advance. And that went 727. And Rocket and Perez, let me see here. Check the New York semis. They were at 112 coming in. I didn't think we were going to have a bout like we had between the Crusaders and Heart Foundation here. So that it's going to be a point each way. So the Pitbulls will go to 115, and Rocca and Perez will go to 113. And the time of the fall, 7:27. And this just gets out of hand in a hurry. And even between the baby faces and the Pitbulls being an aggressive lot. So it's going to be the Pitbulls and the Crusaders in the first of the first round of the final stage bouts in a place either in Britain or in Ireland that has yet to be finalized. So that brings us to our world title bout. And for the first time, it's going to be Pat O'Connor with the ability to use his strategy card. And he was wrestling until his late 50s. I was reading his Wikipedia entry earlier today. And yeah, he was competing because I saw him against Ric Flair at the Sportatorium in Tampa on TV. I'm not going to find Randy in the European file. We'll put him up here on the master. And it's Savage. Ooh, yeah. We're going to use his best card, which is his babyface card. And we'll make O'Connor, because he is defending the title, a tweener here. So I'm sure the fans would want to see Macho Man. Ooh, yeah. Win the world title. And you know what? I did it wrong because I forgot to have somebody in Macho Man's corner. So let me just quickly do it again. This is a world title match. One fall 60. And let me get this straight. And it's 60, and we're gotta have to have Liz in the corner for Macho Man, right? The dearly departed Miss Elizabeth. Let's see here. Yeah, now everything looks right. And I will note the fact that Elizabeth is in the corner. I was going to make O'Connor a tweener, but the heck with it. They'll just let it all hang out because it's for the title. No trades. Off we go. World Championship match. Pat O'Connor against Mach. O'Connor will have a huge advantage. He's 77-4, but Macho Man's got good stamina himself at 71-4. And off we go. Whip to the ropes for Pat O'Connor to start us off. No record for Pat O'Connor because we're using his Champions card, and Macho Man comes in 6-2-4. 6 wins, 2 losses, and 4 sorts of draws. Just went to a time limit draw with CN Punk during the week in Canada. Or was it? It was last week, actually. Ropes move. Flying leg drop by the challenger. That doesn't get it done. Illegal elbow by Savage. An auto control loss. No action for the champ. No action for the challenger. Disqualify check stop. Sleeper hold. That's not going to get it done. We'll see how long the Macho Man can last against O'Connor, or could he win the title? Shortest reigning champion was Jerry Lawler at 2 weeks, and that was earlier this year. Body slam by Randy Savage. Actually, if you really want to be technical, John Pezic held the title and vacated it after winning it. Of course, now he's back in the London circuit wanting to win the title a third time because he and Commissioner Soley got into a spat. Leg hold. He was fined for interfering in the Monarch of the Mat final. So Pesic said, well, if you're going to fine me at undisclosed amount, well, I'm just going to have to come back. Leg hold by O'Connor. Punches by O'Connor. Ropes move countered. Eye gouge by Savage. Flying axe handle was countered. Leg hold by O'Connor. Just keeping it simple. But so far, Macho Man has a lead. We're 7.5 into the bout. Illegal punches by the Macho Man, no action. Auto control loss. Outside the ring action, Savage using arm holds. An interesting place to put him. Legal power move by Savage. Backbreaker. Punches across the knee backbreaker. Illegal punches, body slam. Bear hug by O'Connor. That will not get a submission, so we ignore it. Supplay attempt, ka-chunk. And that's 9 points off of Savage's total. So it's about even. Speed move, sticking and moving, chucking and jiving, just like you did with Dory Funk Jr. That's 6 points off. Legal forearm by Pat. And we go a roundhouse right, but that was countered by Savage, who comes back with a kick, and that too was countered. Supplé attempt, 9 more points off of Savage's total. So it's about a dead even bout at 12:04. Leg hold by O'Connor. O'Connor using punches. No action. Auto control loss. Legal forearm. No action. Savage loses control. We go back to O'Connor. Illegal punches. Well, I imagine when he was world champ between 59 and 61, he might have to bend the rules here or there. He was also the AWA champ, appointed the AWA champ when they broke away from the NWA in 1960. But he did not defend his title within 90 days, so they gave it to Vern Gagne, and that started off his 11 title run. Kick by O'Connor. Disqualified move checked and stopped. Clothesline. No pin. Savage has got to be lucky because that 3 count on O'Connor was 1. But a 1 came up, and that's how Pat O'Connor won the world title that you just saw a few minutes ago. No action, no action. Ropes move. Flying double axe handle for the challenger. That does not score. Arm holds used by Savage outside the ring and illegal punches. Supplé attempt scores. So Macho Man in a good position here. O'Connor comes right back with a body slam, no pin. Arm holds by O'Connor. Body slam by O'Connor. Could be a pin there, but needed a 1 or a 2 and got a 5. Bear hug, that will not get the submission. Whip to the ropes by Pat O'Connor. Power move countered. A forearm by O'Connor scores. And now O'Connor has taken the lead in terms of damage. A legal forearm. So O'Connor finding his second wind. No pin. No action. Whip to the ropes by Savage. And we have a cut on O'Connor. Ally who was stationed at ringside pulled... It's Dory Funk Jr. It's Dory Funko Jr. who pulled Pat O'Connor out of the ring. And Dory Funk Jr. landed a chair shot. So there's after losing the title, Funk's loaded for bear. Body slam by Savage. You know we got to have a rematch between O'Connor and Funk one of these days. Headlock by Savage. We know O'Connor will be going to Texas, or whoever the champion is goes to Texas and has a battle with Cola Coriani next week. Rolling cradle does not score. Legal choking by Savage, who is again ahead because of the interference by Dory Funk. Whip to the ropes by Savage. No action. Whip to the ropes by Savage and illegal punches being scored. And Savage jumps from the ring apron, nails Pat O'Connor. So Savage being a Savage, and he's now up 58 points. Body press does not trigger a pin. Legal elbow. ropes move. Rolling cradle right out of nowhere for Pat O'Connor, and that does not get the pin. We have had so far in about 8 pin attempts, so the pace a little slow, and we're at the half-hour mark. Ropes move, flying knee drop, no pin. Forearm to the nose for Pat O'Connor, no pin. Kick by O'Connor. Spinning toe hold, but that cannot score a submission, so we ignore it. Illegal punches. Legal knee. Arm hold, and O'Connor losing a little more juice. Flying axe handle by the challenger, that does not score a pin. Arm breaker, that cannot get the submission completed. Countered on a pin hold, supply attempt countered. And again, O'Connor shucking and jiving, and now Savage has lost the stamina level. A couple of no actions. Forearm by Savage. Again, that one has to come up for Savage. And illegal forearm by Savage. That does not score. Auto control loss. Small package by Pat O'Connor. Does not score. Whip to the ropes for O'Connor. Kick by O'Connor. We're at the 39-minute mark. And Savage slightly ahead on damage. Illegal punches by Savage. Arm hold by Savage. And again, face first in the ring post goes O'Connor. O'Connor, after being blasted by the chair by Dory Funk, he has a very, very slight cut, only 4 points worth of damage. Whip to the ropes. Flying shoulder block. Again, that one will have to come up for Savage to get a pin here, in all likelihood. It'd be funny if it happened 2 world title bouts in a row. Choking by Savage. Sunset flip. No pin. Pin hold countered. Flying axe handle. Oh, a 5. A 5 came up. Supplé. Throwing everything but the kitchen sink at O'Connor right now. That was 11 pin attempts. Now O'Connor coming back with his 8th. This seems destined for a draw at the 44-17 mark. Speed moved. Sticking and moving. No pin. And that was 9 for O'Connor. Pin attempt number 9. Now pin attempt number 10. Needed a midsection. He got him. He got him on a 1 when a 1 or a 2 would have gotten it done. So there you go again, folks. Pat O'Connor would rather be lucky than good, and he was lucky yet again tonight, defending successfully his world title in his first defense as world champion. So there you go, folks. Another week is in the books. This was a 5-star bout going 45-18. Should not have gotten the pin. They should have gone to a draw, but O'Connor prevails. And he was behind almost 100 points in damage. 338 and 4 in cuts to 240. Time was 45-18, but I think I said that already. And there you go, folks. Another week in the can here on Grand Slam Saturday. You're up to date on everything. Pat O'Connor is the brand new world's heavyweight champion in GSW. We've had our first 2 Okerlund Cup qualifiers, and next week we will come back and do a little bit of more of the same. We'll be heading to the Atlanta and the Knoxville circuits for their qualifiers. I think that'll be held in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to seeing you back again next week on July 24th, Lord willing, and if the creek does not rise. This has been Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well, Godspeed, God bless, and we'll do it all again soon, and bye-bye for now, everybody, I think.